When you make an investment on an automobile, you want it to be able to do everything. But unfortunately, there are limitations. For instance, well, you can't expect the same automobile to be able to accomplish, say, carry an extra 1,000 kilos of weight, corner like it's a Tron light cycle, and still be as luxurious as a Rolls-Royce. So let's be practical. Say you're looking for something stylish, a little bit on the luxurious side, definitely sporty, and well, something that's kind of practical. This is the 2021 MINI Cooper S Countryman Sport. Now I know it's German and English at the same time, but it's aiming to be the Swiss Army knife of crossovers, aiming to do everything with enough versatility to be the perfect daily drive, and more importantly, a lot of fun on the weekends. They're that strong. Up front on the Countryman, it has a very familiar Mini face, though it does ditch the round lights that are found on other Minis down the range, but it's still undeniably a Mini. Touches of chrome add a little razzle-dazzle, so to speak. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of chrome trim, but here it fits the upscale vibes this crossover gives off. It's got a very aggressive front bumper that house LED fog lamps, as well as slats located here and on the other side that actually work. No fakery here. Another aspect that drives home the sport name are these 19-inch two-tone JCW wheels, which look absolutely great. Unfortunately, it does provide for, well, a stiffer ride, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Ground clearance is at a healthy 165 millimeters, definitely more than enough for conquering the urban jungle, but certainly not confidence-inspiring when it comes to much rougher terrain. This also is only a front-wheel drive, so paired with that, don't expect to be dominating the Dakar Rally. AutoDeal.com.ph can connect you to get the best quote from multiple dealerships near you. You can request and compare quotes from any dealership in the Philippines. Get the best deal with AutoDeal. Yes, it's got a small frame, but if you open the boot with either your kick assist or power tailgate, you're looking at 450 liters of space. Now that's a lot, and it can even maximize itself to almost 1,500 liters when you fold the second row down. There is no lip to speak of, so loading heavy things is not a problem. And then there's also this. It's a cheap thrill, but I love it so darn much. Space in the rear cabin of the Mini is actually plenty decent. You've got space definitely for two average to large size adults. A third one would be a problem because the tunnel is actually quite high and elbow room is nothing great. The seats themselves are firm and supportive, but I wish they had a bit more bolstering because this is a Mini and you're definitely going to be sliding around during your weekend warrior sessions. Comfort is okay when it comes to legroom because that's my normal driving position. Even if Jack were sitting and driving up there, I definitely have enough legroom. Luxury back here is actually not bad. You've got your own, yes, your own sunroof. And then you've got air vents, you've got charging points that are Type-C, and you've got a center armrest with two cup holders, coupled with bottle holders on either door. Now, I did mention that this is a practical automobile, and it goes to show you that by folding over so you have access to the rear, which is actually pretty darn cool. The front space of the Countryman is actually pretty great. It's actually pretty exceptional. It's got a lot of character and it makes it, well, very unique. You've got, for instance, a lot of toggles instead of buttons, which include your ignition as well. Then there's also your drive mode selectors, sunroof, control, and others. These toggles really make for a unique experience in here. Another quirk in the automobile that you can't miss is the round housing that you find in the center for its infotainment screen. Now, it's not just all lights and display. They actually have a function. For instance, the lights change color and come on when you're in reverse and you're getting close to certain obstacles on the road. Then it also changes depending on your drive modes, whether you're sport or in eco. And then there's also one of the lights that turn on when it's, well, you use it as a tachometer. It's not the most accurate, but I guess it's just fun to look at. The downside, though, is that the screen is a total of 6.5 inches, which is, at this price point, really, you expect much more from the automobile. I mean, even an Innova has got a larger screen. but it does serve its purpose inside a very tiny cabin, and the functionality of it is actually great. In here though, you get a system based on BMW's iDrive with the quirky touch of Mini here and there. The main menu echoes other elements of the interior by being, well, a circle, I guess. Going through the menu is quick and snappy. There's definitely a learning curve for sure, but it's no rocket science navigating this system. There is unfortunately no CarPlay or Android Auto, but connecting your phone to the system through USB or Bluetooth, and it allows you to search and choose what you want to listen to through Spotify and other music apps. Speaking of music, there are Harman Kardon speakers in here which make for a great listening experience, though the EQ controls leave something to be desired. In contrast, another highlight up here are the leather seats. The leather's very darn good with some Alcantara-like material on the side, and the bolstering to support you when you're going through turns is actually pretty good. You've also got an extension that you can bring out for much taller passengers for thigh support. I can't relate, but I thought I'd just mention that. In terms of cubby holes, well, you've got 2 cup holders and bottle holders on either door, space for 1, possibly even 2 phones down there, and then you've got space here and a center armrest with all of Jack's stuff. And another touch is the ambient lighting in here. You can change it to match whatever mood that you're in. Hopefully blue when you're stuck in traffic. Keep chill, keep chill. Very unique inside and out. I'm happy to report that the drive of the Countryman itself is also as unique. Depending on really what you're looking for, it can be good or bad. Allow me to explain. For starters, or rather for instance, would be the steering. It's a very good steering. It's very weighted. It's very direct. The inputs are very sharp, and you'll notice that it's very easy to drive inside the city. The thing about it is, regardless of its size, you're still thinking that you're purchasing a crossover, which you are essentially. So for more people that are looking for a more relaxed drive, yeah, this might not be for you. However, if you can bear with the weighted steering and it's something that you're looking forward to, especially when you get out of town and to have a little fun, and if you've got the coin, well, yeah, pick one up immediately. The Countryman does weigh a little bit more than 4,500 pounds, which is a bit on the heavy side, but it is powered by a 2-liter twin turbo that produces 192 horses and 280 Newton meters of torque. Now, to put that into perspective, it would be like putting the fight of a great white shark into a goldfish. Imagine that. That being said, it's not exactly the kind of power that will tear your face off as you're going back, or rather forward in time. I get that thing confused. What I'm trying to say is that the power kicks in roughly at the top end of the rev range, so it's smooth till about to get there. Now, getting off the line, if you're punchy and you're in a bit of a hurry, it does tend to, well, slide a little bit because it's not an all-wheel drive, it's a front-wheel drive. But the transmission, I gotta say, is actually pretty smooth. Whether you're on sport or eco mode or green, whatever it is that they call it, it's actually very seamless. I like the way that it changes gears without ever having to bother you and knocking on your door and saying, excuse me, would you like to go up or down, up or down? No, it just keeps going. It drives like a proper crossover, it really does. Now, the suspension does help mitigate the body roll by a lot. I gotta add though, that if you're a person who is much older in your days, more seasoned shall we put it, and you're not looking for something that's a bit bouncy because you obviously want to get yourself a proper crossover, then this might be the kind of car that you will want to skip. Because, well, it's not exactly a JCW Works car outright, but the suspension and the 19-inch tires with the 45 series on them, yeah, that might get old really fast, really quick if you're looking for a much more comfortable car. Now, for those that are more, shall we say, spry and want to get out there and carve some twists and turns on the weekends, or maybe even on a daily basis, yeah, look no further. Technology in here is actually pretty darn good. You feel like you haven't been left behind by science and technology. But that being said, it's like you're spending so much on this automobile and yet it kind of cuts a few corners. For instance, we made mention that the display is not the biggest thing on the planet. It's only 6.5 inches, while the housing is just so massive. Another is that it does have cruise control, but it's not adaptive. And I'm thinking, for the price that I'm paying for this guy, well, darn it, I should be spoiled, right? We should be. NVH is not, well, particularly good. I'd give it about an 8 out of 10 because the wind and tire noise definitely creep in. The engine noise, not a problem, regardless of how much you're pushing it or how deep you're putting your right foot down on the loud pedal. But the wind noise and the road noise, yeah, that might start getting to you. So basically, NVH, or the noise, vibration, and harshness in here, can be quite harsh actually, depending on how you push the car. The other thing that's quite harsh, but in a good way, are the brakes. Man, do they bite, and they'll catch you off guard too. Very surprising, because when you step on it, it's like, wah! It's like it'll stop the car like there's no tomorrow. It's as shocking as, let's say, for example, answering back your mother. When you do it, you're like, ooh, man, that's a bit scary. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. They're that strong. Now, when it comes to fuel economy, if you're thinking that it should be good in a car like this, you're spot on. Because in traffic inside the city, you're doing 10 kilometers per liter. Good. Even better on the highway, double it at 20 kilometers per liter. Thanks, obviously, to its 8-speed automatic transmission. That's just awesome, man. Any way that you put it, we're going to be very critical about this automobile for two things. Number one is because, well, of its price. And number two, it's because, well, it's a Mini, saying that it's a crossover. Let's not mince words. When you get this, yes, sure, it definitely is a crossover. I mean, it fits the bill, but it's still definitely a Mini. And you're going to buy it simply because, well, it's a go-kart with an air conditioning system, with a radio, and a boot to boot. So you're still gonna expect that roughness from it, those sharp turns, the engine that revs really, really high, and a bit of a bouncy ride with 45 series tires, because, well, that's why you're getting it. It's all of that, and a bag of potato chips to the right buyer. So it seems that the Countryman is targeting a very specific buyer, one who wants all the amenities and the drivability of a Mini and yet still have the capabilities of a crossover, essentially trading off passenger comfort for driving performance. So I guess the question is it any good? Well, to the right person, it's not just good, but it's actually great. Because, well, it's full of character inside and out. And despite being full of German handiwork all over the automobile, it also has the charm of dry British humor. To be honest with you, it's brilliant. The MINI Cooper Countryman Sport comes in at 3,850,000 Philippine pesos. I didn't make a mistake, that's really its price. And I know what you're thinking, at that figure you can get yourself already a CX-9, which is a hell of a lot bigger, more ground clearance, and much more comfortable inside. So really, its practicality, like a Swiss Army knife, is, you know, that's out the window. But I will tell you three definite things about it. Number one is that it's absolutely fun to drive, no doubt about that. Number two, it's obviously an object of desire. Every single person that I've met, well, most of the people that I've met, definitely want a Mini. And number three, it's as sharp as a razor's edge, no doubt.